Hi, and welcome to Translating Expressions. So today we're going to look at words that translate to math expressions, and then later we'll look at equations. So there's certain words that you've probably heard over time that you remember. If I hear this word, it means write a plus sign. If you hear this word, it means write a division sign. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video in just a second, and in pencil, fill out as many of the words as you can think of just in this top part. Okay. I'm asking you to do it in pencil because if some of them are incorrect, I'm going to ask you to erase them because I don't want you to think that certain words go with these operations if they don't. Now, if you have a word that you come up with that I don't give you on my list, you can totally ask about it, and it could be another word. I'm just trying to come up with the most common ones. So take a quick second, come up with as many as you can, and when we come back, I'll have a list for you to look at and then copy down. Okay, see you in a sec. All right, so welcome back. Here's the list that I've come up with. And again, these are the more common ones. So you might have words that you have that are also work. And if you're not sure, just ask because those could be on the list too. These are just the most common ones. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a second to pause the video again and fill in any of the words that you don't currently have on your list. When you're done, unpause the video and we'll talk about a few of them. All right, cool. So I think people are pretty familiar with the ones in the addition column. Like if you have more than $5 more than someone, it's what they have plus five. Totals when you add things up at the cash register. Plus, all together we have this. So you add up what everybody has. For multiplication, the common ones are times, product, twice means times two, double is times two, triple is times three. The word of is a new one for a lot of people. That's actually going to come up pretty often, especially when we're working with decimals or fractions and percents. So let me just put a little box around that, see if my pen's working here. So the word of is going to be a big one. And then per is a tricky one, so we'll have to look at it in context, but per can sometimes mean multiplication. It's like $5 per hour. So you do 5 times the number of hours that you worked. Division would be divided by, divided into. Quotient is the most common word. Half is dividing by 2. A third is dividing by 3. A fourth is dividing by 4. And then when you separate things, you usually divide it out or split it. Subtraction is usually the hardest one, and that's why I saved that for last. And then we're going to actually notice I put some asterisks by some of the words. So difference means subtract, minus means subtract, and decrease by means subtract. And so do less than and subtracted from. But those words actually are what we call turnaround words. So what they mean is you have to change the order in the problem for it to work correctly. So these are the ones that trip people up most of the time. So I'm just going to draw a little arrow down to this box here. Um, and that's what we're going to talk about. So phrases like less than, I'm just going to rewrite it, and subtracted from. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Okay. Woo, I just found a cool new feature. Indicate you need to reverse the order. So let's say I have $5 less than you. Well, the only way to figure out how much money I have is to know your amount first. So we'd have to put your amount and then subtract my amount. So if it's $5 less than X, it would actually be X minus 5, not 5 minus X, because you don't have $5 less than me. I have $5 less than you. Okay, so just be careful when you see those. They'll come up, and I'll try to make a point of those when we translate these. So our goal today is just to translate expressions. Remember, expressions are things that don't have an equal sign. And we can't solve them. We can't simplify them. We're just going to translate them. Okay. Whenever you see the phrase a number like this, just use X. Okay. Or whatever variable you want. Just maybe don't use an S or an O because those look like fives and zeros. Z's look like twos. So just use X. Okay, some of your answers can also look a little different than the ones that I'm going to write because you could say 5 plus X, you could say X plus 5. Those are the same. You could write division as a fraction. You could write division with a fraction symbol, with the division symbol, right? So if you're unsure about how you wrote yours, ask because there are varying answers on this assignment. Okay, cool. So 5 more than a number. Well, more than is from my plus operation. So I'm just going to write 5 plus X and I'm done. The quotient of a number and -2. So quotient means division, and the division sign goes between the number and -2. It goes where the word and is. So I could say x divided by -2 as a fraction, or I could say x divided by -2 horizontally. It's the same. Okay, twice a number. So remember, twice is multiplying by 2. So I would just write 2x. A number decreased by 7. So I have a number and I take away 7. So x minus 7. All right, cool. So let's go on to the next page and do a few more. Okay. The product, so multiplication of a number and 12. So again, the product, the multiplication symbol goes where the word and is. So it's just the number times 12. So try not to write n times 12, because remember the number comes in front of the variable. So I'm going to write 12n. Okay. 3 subtracted from. Okay, here's one of those turnaround words. So I'm actually going to put the arrow to show that it goes backwards. So it's 3 subtracted from a number, but I actually have to put the number first, then subtract 3, because I'm taking 3 away from something that was already there. So I hope that makes sense. $15 an hour. Nice. Remember, per hour means multiply. So I would just write 15H. You don't have to put the dollar sign. And $5 less than the cost of a ticket. So another turnaround word, and this could be like a discount, right? You get $5 off your ticket. So it's the ticket cost minus the $5. Okay, so I'd like you to take a minute and do a few on your own, and then we're going to look at expressions, that are a little bit harder. Okay, so I'd like you to do for the on your own. Let me look at my notes. I want you to do these 3 right here. Okay. So try those 3, and then when you come back, we'll check the answers. Okay, see you in a sec. All right, so here are the answers. N plus 24, 50 divided by x, and you could have also written it as a fraction like this. Whoa, sorry, there's cats in the background. And then remember, the word of means times, so it was 2/5 times x. Okay, so now we're going to do a few more examples that have 2 steps in them, okay? So half a number minus 19. So you could take a number and cut it in half like that, and then subtract 19. You could also do half a number like this and then subtract 19. So as long as you have either multiplying by a half or dividing by 2, it's the same thing. Okay, 11 less than the product of a number and -4. So this word product is going to go where the word and is. So I'm going to have -4x, and it's 11 less than that. So remember, the 11 goes after it. So I end up with -4x minus 11. Okay. All right, one more. The total of 8 times a number and 5. So the word total is going to go where the word and is. So it's going to be 8 times a number plus 5, because total means plus. So I get 8x plus 5. Okay, this is a little tricky when we start adding multiple steps, so don't worry if it's not clicking right away. We're going to be doing this all year. So I'd like you to try the next 2 problems as on your own. Okay, and one of the things it says is squared. Remember, squared is something times itself. It's an exponent. Yeah, so try those 2 and we'll check back in just a second. All right, so here we go. X squared minus 14, difference of a number squared and 14, and 3/4 of a number plus 17. So 3/4 x plus 17. Okay, so that's translating expressions. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to go backwards. Okay, they're going to give us an expression, and we're going to use the words from the front page of these notes to write the sentence. Okay, and this is where answers will vary. Okay, and you can say really fancy words, or you can say the most basic words. Okay, so when you grade this, again, this is on the homework. When you grade it, just ask for help if you're not sure if yours is right or not. Okay, so I'm going to take this expression and I'm going to write what I see. So I'm just going to say a number minus 9. Super simple for that. I could say 9 less than a number. I could say 9, a number decreased by 9. I could say 9 less than a number. So there's a lot of options. Okay. For this one, I'm going to say a number divided by 8. Or I could say the quotient of a number and 8. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Oh, two more. I wanna look at the two-stepper, so we're gonna skip down here. Okay, so this is really similar to number 12 that we did up top. So you could use similar wording to number 12, but basically it's a number cut in half. So I could say half a number, and then I'm subtracting 30. So I would just say minus 30. You could say a number divided by 2, or you could say 30 less than a number divided by 2 to be really fancy. That's what I meant by fancy earlier. Okay, and then the next one is number 23 is, so it's -7 and -1. So I would say, let's go a little fancy on this one, okay? I'm gonna say 1 less than the product of -7 and a number. Remember, product means multiply. Oh, I gotta write small here. -7 and a number. So 1 less than the product of -7 and a number. I could have said -7 times n minus 1. That's fine too. Okay, so again, get help if you're not sure. Okay, last couple on your owns. Okay, there's only 3 more problems left on here. 4 actually, but we don't need to do one of them. So let's do this. Let's do those two. And then take a shot at this third one because I think, again, that's going to be the hardest. If you get stuck on that, just ask for help. Okay, so I will see you in a sec. All right, so I've got my answers in there. I said -5 times a number. You could have said the product of -5 and a number. For number 20, I said a number increased by 10. You could have just said a number plus 10, 10 more than a number. For number 24, I said the product of 2 and y. Oh, I actually said y this time, and that's fine. The product of 2 and a number increased by 13. Or you could have said 13 more than the product of 2 and a number, or twice a number, anything like that. So again, there's going to be varying answers. So as you do the homework and you're not sure, just ask because you don't want to assume that it's right. And then maybe on the test you do it and you're like, oh, oops, I should have asked. Okay, cool. See you next time.